you so much. Let me get my screen shared. While that's coming up, I do want to mention for LiDA, we made some updates to volumes. So we had some circumstances where volume level holds weren't working, and those are working now. But assuming everyone can see my screen, the big thing that we have to share today are the custom notifications in LiDA. So what you see on the screen right now are two different kinds of notifications. The top one is the one that we talked about last month. So this is when you have a new title, add to your saved search. The bottom one is the new one. And you'll see when we set these up, these are completely configurable by your library, by location, by patron type, and they can kind of be whatever you want them to be, including the emoji support with the little leaf there. So I'm showing you these as part of a PowerPoint slide because our emulator that we usually use to demo LiDA doesn't do notifications, but they do work. So I just kind of want to clarify why we're not doing a live demonstration. So patrons do have to set up notifications in LiDA. So they need to go to their preferences, which you can get there from my account is how you get to preferences. They need to toggle on, they go to manage notifications, toggle on allow notifications, and then they'll have two different preferences. So right now, because we have two different notification types, they have the saved searches and alerts from your library. So they could say, no, I don't need to know about new titles in my saved searches, but yes, I do want to know about alerts from my library. So let's get out of there, and I'm going to show you how to set these new types of alerts up. So here I am in Aspen Discovery Administration. I'm going to go to local catalog enrichment. So this is where you do things like set up your system messages. They're kind of similar to system messages. But down here we have the new LiDA notifications. So here we have all of the notifications that we've used so far on here. You can filter these like you can in most of the other parts of admin by a couple of different fields that we have. So once, right now you're not going to have a lot, but maybe someday when you have a lot of notifications, you can kind of narrow that down. Adding a new one, we'll start a blank one. I'm going to go ahead and edit the one that you saw earlier, though, so we can see all of the different options that we have. Okay, so Autumn is now with the library. That is the title. So let's actually go back here and you can see it, the notification. That's up there at the top. And then we have the general body of the message with emoji support, like we said. And what I really like is that we have just some guidelines down here for creating your message. So the difference between iOS and Android, how many characters are allowed before it's truncated. iOS, it's total number of characters. Android, there's a difference between the message itself and the title and whether or not that message is expanded. If you've seen those notifications on those platforms, you'll it's pretty intuitive what those mean. So then comes the setup. What you do is you choose a date and time to send it on. So this one was last on October 5th at 12:30. The send time is the same time zone as the server. And what LiDA does is it looks for new ones every 15 minutes. And if it sees one that has not been sent, where the time has passed, that's when it will actually trigger it to send. So the time has to have passed, it hasn't sent, and then LiDA will send it again. The next field is the expiration date for the notice. So this is if the patron doesn't kind of dismiss it or click on it, it doesn't stay on the phone forever. This is how long it should stay. This is important for things like if you have an event in the evening that's being canceled, and maybe you're just notifying patrons that the event is canceled. If somebody happens to be camping and they get back 2 days later, they don't need to see that notification anymore. That you can go ahead, they can just completely miss that notification. You can have it expire after it's ceased to be relevant. Okay, next we get into how you set up where that tap on the notification goes. To start, you have two different options. The first is a specific screen and app. I'm going to show you an external website first because it's just a little bit easier. You just put in a URL right here and it will take them right to that site on the app. You can see we had a test notification for banned books. There's a page on the library website that's responsive about banned books. You can just put that right in here. If we choose a specific screen on the app, you have all of these options for where within the LiDA app it should go. So if I wanted to go to a specific browse category, then I select browse category. It's holding onto my search term here. And you would put in the browse category there. If you wanted to put in a public list, you would put in the list ID. I had searching for a specific term for mine, so that's autumn. In addition to the searches, we also have user profiles. This is within the patron. So if you wanted to send people to their profile page, for example, or their preferences page, or something for linked accounts, these are just all of the different areas that you could send them within Aspen. Then we have the options for how to customize it. So you can send it to specific libraries and or specific locations. So again, with the idea that maybe you had a water leak, so you have to close a specific branch and you wanted to let everyone know, you could narrow that down to just the branch that you want to send it to. We also have it by patron type. So if you were sending a notification for something like an adult book club or a kids, maybe the kids don't have phones, maybe they do, kids story time, you could do it that way. This will just pull in your patron types. So another use case here is that if all of your staff have the app and you need to notify them of something like, hey, give them a heads up that there's bad weather and the weather's going to impact the library, you could send a notification that way to even just staff. This little notification sent, you want to leave this unchecked before it's sent. This is what kind of lets you know that LiDA has sent it. If you uncheck it, LiDA is going to look to send it again. Like I said, it's going to always look for things with dates in the past. Once it sends it, it's going to check this little box here. So those are the custom notifications. We do have permissions for these as well. Actually, let's go right up here into permissions. So like anything else that relates to a library system or a library location, I'm not going to save these, so I won't pay attention to the role. We do have permissions for who can do this. So viewing notification reports, send notifications to all libraries. So this is kind of the mother preference. And then letting people send notifications to their home library or home location, home library, and then the home location. Just like anything else where we have, it's the permissions for specific library locations or library systems. So that is what we've done with LiDA.